Next on CBS 2 News, it's a little late for Christmas, but Old Man Winter reminds us he's not done for the season just yet. Snow piling up around the Treasure Valley. See how people are coping with all the white stuff and power outages.
I'm James Rosen with reaction to the second impeachment acquittal for Donald Trump, including a hint by the Senate's top Republican that the former president could face additional legal action, and a declaration from Mr. Trump himself that his MAGA movement has only just begun.
I never thought I'd be able to come back from where I was at, to being this happy, to being able to see a future.
A recovering addict saved by a complete stranger. See their reunion in just a bit. Well, friends, the big story of today, the snow. We'll check in with Trevor Fay in just a moment. He has an update on road conditions and power outages. But first, let's hear from Chief Meteorologist Roland Stedham, who has a look at our forecast. And Roland, more snow on the way.
More snow is on the way, Sarah, but I'll tell you this, we do get a chance to just kind of dig out here for the next 24 hours. But still, look at what this storm system did. On the way to work, I noticed there was a lot of tree branches that were brought down from the weight of the snow, maybe on some of the weaker limbs. This is a gentleman who lives in Eagle. His name is Randy, and this was part of his very large pine tree in his front yard that almost hit his house. So that's kind of an impact of what kind of snow we did have. In fact, the snowfall amounts looking like this. Bogus Basin 15 inches. Now these are storm totals over the last 2 days. Brundage 10 inches, Tamarack 9. We had as much snow in the Treasure Valley as we had up at some of our ski resorts, with the exception, of course, of Bogus Basin, that did very, very well with this volley of storms. 26 degrees outside right now. We're under mostly cloudy skies, but the dew point's 24. I think this temperature is going to continue to drop down into the low 20s for overnight lows. There goes our storm. Here's the break we get tomorrow, but there's the leading edge of the next surge of moisture that's already going to be moving in maybe as early as tomorrow night. I'd say more so during the morning hours on Monday. So overnight lows tonight, 20 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a few snow showers tomorrow night with a high of 34 degrees. We'll talk about that Monday and Thursday, Friday storm in just a few.
Well, hundreds of Idaho Power customers lost electricity across Boise and the Treasure Valley as winter snow came down earlier today. CBS 2's Trevor Fay spoke with customers left in the dark, as well as some people determined to make the best of the winter weather. He joins us live in Boise. Trevor?
Outage after outage struck here in downtown Boise as wet and heavy snow fell on roofs and homes. But I spoke with a few people here who, as you said, are determined to make the most of it, even as Idaho Power crews are trying to turn the lights back on. One such customer, Bill Fletcher, says he was without power for nearly 6 hours today.
Power went out just a few minutes after 9 o'clock this morning, you know, we called the power company and they were, of course, aware and working on it.
His daughter and her friend decided to make the best of it and took to the streets to enjoy the snow.
The parks are kind of crowded. We decided to go to like North Junior High and sled down like stairs. Yeah, we sled.
There was snow on the stairs, so we just slid down it.
Back at home, Bill works to keep things warm for the family, even without a heater.
We have a gas fireplace that we kept on to kind of keep the house warm. You know, we weren't sure initially how long it was going to take before the power came back on.
And the kids are looking to the next few days with optimism.
It's sort of like back in like 2016 when there was like the Snowmageddon. It's my mom said it's kind of like that again. So we're hoping that we'll have snow days so we can hang out with each other more.
Now, there's no time estimate for when power will return to all of the downed areas, but crews are working around the clock to restore electricity to the grid as soon as possible. CBS 2 News.
Well, the wintry weather impacting flights both in and out of the Boise airport. Some flights just a few minutes late, while others could be delayed up to a few hours. If you're heading out or expecting someone in, be sure to check the Boise flight tracker. We have a link on our website. Just look for this story. And Soldier Mountain is back at full operations starting tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Chairlift 1 had been closed, but it's back in service for both Valentine's Day and President's Day. The family-friendly mountain is just about 2.5 hours from Boise. And while we got a good dose of snow here in the Treasure Valley, we are definitely not alone. Seattle got walloped as well. Now, some skiers even took to the streets and parks to enjoy all of that fluffy white stuff.
Well, so I've skied Cary Park before, but Queen Anne Hill was plowed. That was a couple years ago. And so it's pretty rare to have enough snow to be able to ski it. It was legitimately good. There's enough snow that you don't hit the pavement. And we had some good turns, and I think we're going to go back for another lap.
And Pittman, who you just saw there, wasn't alone. Other skiers are out and about and around Seattle as well. Well, at least 9 people have died in car crashes due to winter storms across the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. A 133-car pileup on a Fort Worth interstate on Thursday morning left 6 people dead. It spanned about 1 mile of road, and of those involved in the crash, 65 were hurt. The incident was one of several reported in the area, of course, due to icy roads. 3 deaths in Dallas were also attributed to those road conditions. Our sister station in San Antonio shows us how people are trying to stay warm and safe even with the wintry weather.
It's very high. Very, very high for me.
If you step inside Irene Patlin's southwest San Antonio home, you'll find shelter from the cold, but the heat is coming from her stove. She keeps a close eye on it to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning and a high utility bill.
If I put the heat, it will run me up to $300, which I don't have. Like right now, I do owe more than $300.
Patlin says turning on the stove instead of the heater saves her about $150 a month.
A lot of ceiling fans, on the house. I put one here, one in my bedroom, one in the other bedroom.
She's applied for assistance, but has less than $1,000 a month coming in, sometimes leaving her with about $20 after paying bills.
Sometimes we don't even have blankets, and it's hard for us.
Patlin says she's not the only one facing this issue. CBS Energy is stressing tonight they will not cut off utilities, especially when it is below freezing.
As of right now, there's not a date in mind that we will start disconnecting for non-payment.
Tonight, we took your concerns about not being able to afford staying warm to Mayor Ron Nierenberg. He says heating homes with a stove can be dangerous and other options are available.
Can you run through programs that are available for them?
If you do need a warm place to stay, again, please call 211.
Patlin hopes her story shows how important financial donations are for utilities, a program CBS has in place.
We have to manage whether we like it or not. Just, what can I say? Help.
Well, in the weeks leading up to his second impeachment trial, Donald Trump was uncharacteristically quiet. Now that the Senate has voted for a second time to acquit him, with 7 Republicans breaking ranks and voting to convict, Mr. Trump appears to be preparing for a return to the national stage. Sinclair national correspondent James Rosen has the latest.
Mr. McConnell, not guilty.
Moments after he joined 46 other Senate Republicans in voting to acquit former President Trump of inciting the deadly Capitol riot of January 6, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell condemned his one-time ally.
President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day.
For what happened that day, including 5 deaths, McConnell argued impeachment was an inappropriate remedy, even as the Senate's top Republican practically invited additional legal action against Mr. Trump.
Didn't get away with anything. We have a criminal justice system in this country. We have civil litigation, and former presidents are not immune from being accountable by either one.
While disappointed in the predictable verdict, leading Democrats, including the House managers who prosecuted the case, claimed a moral victory.
Trump stormed our house with the mob he incited, and we defended our house. And he violated our Constitution, and we defended the Constitution.
The Senate took a firm stance, set a firm precedent with a bipartisan vote.
Late Saturday, the 45th president, the first to be impeached twice, the first to be tried after leaving office, the first to be acquitted twice, issued a statement that senior advisor Jason Miller read to reporters.
This has been yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. Our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you, but I imagine you'll probably be hearing a lot more from him in the coming days.
A source familiar with the former president's thinking told me he is certainly aware of investigations that are pending into his post-election conduct and personal finances in Georgia and New York State, respectively, but that he is in good spirits and that the former president is not overly concerned about the prospect of facing additional legal action. Reporting from Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, James Rosen.
I never thought I'd be able to come back from where I was at, to being this happy, to being able to see a future.
A drug addict saved by a stranger. Hear from both of them and see their reunion.
That wasn't expected at all. It was just meant to be, poke some fun, make people laugh. That's about it. But it went viral.
Plus, a police department in Tennessee comes up with a Valentine's joke, trying to bring in people with warrants, and it goes viral.
CBS 2 News.
A police department in Rhode Island is offering a 3-night stay and special bracelets, all for Valentine's Day. Kelly O'Neill from our Sinclair sister station shows you their special offer.
An eye-catching post for an ex looking for revenge.
It was to make people laugh.
Somerset police advertising a special holiday offer for an ex-Valentine with a warrant, consisting of free transportation, a 3-night stay in luxurious accommodations, Valentine's Happy Meal dinner, and a special set of bracelets. Quote, all of this can be yours for the price of a phone call.
But just roaming around the internet, I actually saw something similar that another PD had put out somewhere else, not near here. And I said, yeah, it's not a bad idea. And then we kind of looked for a stock photo with, we found some handcuffs that shaped the heart. So
the man behind the message that's been shared more than 5,000 times, Police Chief George McNeil.
That wasn't expected at all. It was just meant to be, poke some fun, make people laugh. That's about it. But it went viral.
Has anyone taken you up on this offer?
Not that I'm aware of.
People from all over chiming in, one woman commenting, you get a bonus night for the President's Day holiday too. Others poking fun, saying they can arrest their ex anyway, and asking if ex-Valentines with commitment issues count towards the deal.
We try to be funny sometimes too, and it's good to be a little humorous and fun from time to time rather than just trying to be serious all the time.
All right, folks, well, here we go. This is a great picture sent in by William Drimmel in Boise. Beautiful snowman, William. Thanks for sending that in. And take a look at this time-lapse video up at Redfish Lake. Not only is the lake frozen over, of course, we've known that for a while, but it's been some time since we've seen a nice flocking on the trees up there. And up in the Sawtooths, just doing super well as far as snowpack is concerned. 26 degrees outside right now, Boise, 26 in Nampa, 24 in Caldwell, so it's getting cold. Now here's an example of what can happen this time of the year. You'll get some very cold Arctic air that hangs out just east of the Gem State. And look at what's happening right now in Salmon, it's 10 degrees. Idaho Falls, my goodness, 8 degrees right now. This Rocky Mountain chain that we have out here, the Continental Divide, this acts like a dividing line between the frigid air that's located up to the north and to the east versus the milder air that we have. And of course it is kind of chilly, not necessarily mild, but if it were not for that mountain range there, we would be getting some frigid air that comes in from Canada. So right now, icy roads are the concern tonight. Expect snow again on Monday, and the pattern is going to be staying active here for quite some time. In fact, the Weather Service has already issued the next winter weather advisory. Now, this is in effect from 11 o'clock tomorrow night through 11 a.m. on Monday. You can see right here the purple shade area encompasses much of the Treasure Valley, and this is for an additional 2 to 4 inches of snow on the valley floor, again from late tomorrow night through the mid-morning hours on Monday. And we're going to be seeing about 7 to 10 inches of snow up in the mountains, and there are winter storm watches which are in effect right now for the west central mountains and also for eastern Oregon. So all of this remains extremely active. You saw what's been happening up and down Seattle, stretching down into Portland. Here's the pattern. I mean, this is like a conveyor belt of moisture that continues to move in from the Pacific Ocean. All of this is riding along on the jet stream that acts like a railroad track for these storm systems, and so they cruise right along this upper level river of air. As long as the jet stream is poised to the south of this like this, and we're under the influence of a northwest flow, all of these storms you see out here have only one direction in which they can go. There's the Monday storm. We catch a little bit of a break tomorrow, but you can anticipate snow for the Monday morning commute once again, as this pattern is going to keep cranking these storms out. So if I had to paint a storm zone with this scenario, it would be out here, again, from Seattle down to Portland, possibly Northern California, and right across the Gem State. Then the storms begin to weaken a little bit as they approach the Wasatch Front. of northern Utah. So here we go tomorrow morning. Generally cloudy skies, but then watch what happens by tomorrow evening. The moisture starts to increase out here to the west of us, and there's the bulk of the storm impacting us on Monday, commencing early Monday morning and through at least the first half of the day on Monday. 7-day forecast for the valley, cloudy skies tomorrow, then expect snow on Monday. We'll be in between storms on Tuesday and Wednesday with a chance of snow on Thursday, a better chance of snow on Friday. And for the mountains, oh, the skiers are going to love this. Expect snow on Monday, a few showers on Tuesday with periods of snow on again, off again, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Well, hey, we will take it. Well, the winter weather, as Roland said, it's here and not letting up. But freezing temperatures, snow and ice, it can be tough on the soul. And new research suggests it's hard on the heart, too. Consumer Reports explains that winter weather can actually bring an increased risk of heart attack.
We've all heard the stories of how shoveling snow can increase your risk of a heart attack, and now recent research shows that falling temperatures can contribute to higher odds of a heart attack, even if you're not clearing a path from your driveway.
Cold weather can increase blood pressure, and although scientists aren't totally sure why, it can also raise cholesterol levels, and those are two key risk factors for a heart attack.
And a number of other factors can also raise your risk of a heart attack, including being 65 or older, or having heart disease, diabetes, or high blood pressure. One key strategy for protecting your heart during the winter: stay warm.
As you get older, your sense of how cold you are may diminish, so it's important to do things like dress in loose layers, don't forget your hat and gloves.
For men, the classic chest pain is the #1 symptom of a heart attack, but not the only one. Other symptoms include nausea, vomiting, and upper body pain in the arms, back, shoulders, neck, jaw, or abdomen.
While chest pain is a key symptom for women too, other prominent signs may include overwhelming fatigue, shortness of breath, and nausea, among others.
If you suspect you're having a heart attack, call 911 immediately. And don't think about driving yourself to the hospital. Trained paramedics can offer life-saving help while getting you to the hospital faster.
Consumer Reports also says before you go outside and start shoveling that snow, try some light physical activity to warm up, like running in place or stretching.
Brought tears to my eyes. It's like, damn. But then those are tears of respect and appreciation, not tears of sadness, because I was here and I was able to watch it.
Coming up on the eve of Daytona 500, a driver who survived a horrific crash talks about the incident and how he's hopping back into the driver's seat this weekend.
I just kept imagining she's going to fall, and I figured, well, I guess if she does, I'm going to go in after her.
A man who saved a woman's life talks about the experience, and you'll see the reunion coming up next.
CBS 2 News.
It's a story 2 years in the making. A Tennessee woman saved by a stranger when she attempted to take her own life. On her road to recovery, she tracks down her saving grace, who helps her again in an unexpected way. Christy Calgan captured that moment when their worlds reunited.
Tuesday, September 25th, 2018. That's where our story began, here on the Marble Hall Bridge over Caney Creek, where a FedEx driver spotted a woman hanging off the edge of this bridge, ready to take her own life.
I was in a bad marriage, using drugs pretty excessively. I got just a little ways down the road, and I stopped and thought, I don't have anywhere to go.
Peggy Parsons was a former addiction therapist who ended up becoming an addict herself.
Had I not been on drugs at the time, I'm sure I never would have considered that a viable option.
With her life literally hanging in the balance, a stranger appeared to pull her back up.
I just kept imagining she's going to fall, and I figured, well, I guess if she does, I'm going to go in after her.
He was already over the railing, and from what I understand, had a belt around my neck when he stopped. His timing was ideal.
Peggy was taken for a mental evaluation, and she also spent several months in jail.
Me and my wife both had prayed just so much that she was okay and that God would look after her.
And 4 days later, that's when tragedy struck the Nicholson family. A fire in their living room engulfed the entire house, leaving the family with nothing.
Entire life's pretty much just, destroyed.
Now, they were able to get back on their feet, but just like Peggy, the Nicholson family couldn't on their own. They relied on the kindness of neighbors and nearby churches. But through it all, the Nicholsons wondered what happened to that distraught woman on the bridge.
I think it was just something about her, when she was talking on the bridge and just the things she was saying. I just knew that, man, this is somebody that's gone through more than they should have to, and it broke my heart.
Flash forward to 2021, where Peggy is now clean and sober and ready to make a fresh start.
I knew this would happen later, but I didn't think it would.
I didn't owe the man anything except a thanks. And first thing I did when I got out of jail was call him.
She's had so much bad that it's time for her to get something good going for her.
Everything that you've done has helped me get on the right path. I couldn't have done it without you guys.
Looking for an affordable car. I have one.
What Peggy didn't know was the man who rescued her on that bridge in Rogersville wasn't done lending a helping hand.
Been through enough in your life.
I never thought I'd be able to come back from where I was at, to being this happy, to being able to see a future.
Peggy's now living in a sober living facility in Knoxville called Never Alone. And these once strangers are now lifelong friends.
I can only imagine what it was like not knowing, or that night of, or the days after. So, that's one of the toughest things that we do as drivers, is have to check our feelings because of what we do and the things that are required of us.
Coming up on CBS 2 News, on the night before the Daytona 500 set to take place, some of the drivers were involved in a horrific crash last year. Now they reflect back on the death-defying incident.
Coming up this week on Full Measure. It's lights, camera, action around the country as more states try to attract Hollywood dollars. In Montana and other states, it means offering a program of tax incentives. We'll head out west to tell you about the competition and the controversy. President Biden's energy policies are drastically different than President Trump's. What's the impact of the changes for people in Texas and New Mexico, some of our biggest energy producers? And suicide among veterans is a difficult issue, but some soldiers are finding a surprising treatment to be their saving grace. The program that's having them run toward the sound of gunfire, not away from it. All that coming up this week on Full Measure.
Hawkins.
We hope you'll join us Monday morning for CBS 2 News this morning.
Starting at 5 a.m.
You're watching CBS 2 News.
Daytona is known for its wrecks. It's what many fans love and many drivers hate. Heather Williams was at one such incident a year ago in Daytona that everyone was holding their breath.
The 2020 Daytona 500 is one that Ryan Newman can't remember but won't forget. A last lap crash sent his number 6 flying into the air and once again tested the safety of the sport.
Crash into the wall, into the air goes Newman.
And that was a rough night for sure. Not knowing any updates on Ryan, even though it was not intentional, you're still a part of the wreck, and that was definitely tough.
Even before that wreck, if I was in it or not, Daytona and Talladega are places where you hug the wife for an extra couple seconds and you pull the belts a little bit tighter just as part of the game.
In the moments that ticked away after Newman's accident last year, fans and fellow competitors went through a roller coaster of emotion.
I can only imagine what it was like not knowing, or that night of, or the days after. So, that's one of the toughest things that we do as drivers, is have to check our feelings because of what we do and the things that are required of us.
For Newman, it's easier to check those emotions because his recollection of what happened that night doesn't exist.
I have no memory so therefore I have no fear.
Still, he understands how close he was to not walking away from that wreck. He's watched the accident back several times, and he's grateful for the continued advancements in safety that saved his life.
So I looked at it and I watched it, and it was just a different perspective, right? I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. It's like, damn. But then those are tears of respect and appreciation, not tears of sadness, because I was here and I was able to watch it.
The accident at Daytona last year was not the first big accident for Newman. In fact, he's credited with help developing the bar inside the roll cage called the Newman bar that helped save his life.
Well, your local news and weather coverage continue overnight on idahonews.com. We'll see you tomorrow for CBS 2 News at 5:30.
Take the news with you on the radio, 670 KBOI. And for news and information 24 hours a day, click on idahonews.com.